Anyway, we're not here for that. We're here for this. This is all 7. Big moment. Actually, today's been a bigger moment. It's been my daughter's first day at school. Pre-enrollment or pre-kindy day or preschool day. It was pretty emotional. But yeah, these arrived as well. I actually released the last book, or the second book, The Calm Man, on her birthday. So it's quite unique. And then these came on the day she goes to school. So in these boxes, there's 3 books that hadn't been published or released in order: The Meditations of Everyday Living, The Art of Everyday Behaviour, and my favourite, which I can't wait to unbox, which is pretty much the epitome of my collection, is The Blueprint from Chaos, which is the one that I'm really excited about. In this box is only 20 copies of this edition. I've already edited and made probably 3 or 4 more additions to the transcript since this one. So these are the only 20. They're raw. A lot of edits have been made to, to suit a particular audience, etc., and to, make sure it had the right. I want to articulate this in the right way. It spoke to the right audience, and it was set in the right way. For those that don't know, the beginning books, Pain's the Purpose, I pretty much hand wrote and typed out all the way through up until the 4th book was literally grinding, and then I met Claude, and that helped me transcribe. So the Blueprint was basically all spoken and then edited after, which is quite interesting. So you can feel the words that I'm actually saying and how what they packed in this one. Check out the knife. And I never get this right, but you're supposed to maybe, yeah, we got that. All right. So these are the books that are already released. The Fine Line. It's still one of my favorite books. I love it. And when I originally got this, Hidden in Plain Sight, I only got 3 copies. I haven't made any changes to this edition. So now there's a lot more copies. Hidden in Plain Sight. Yeah, it's pretty surreal to see this and feel it and smell it and flick through the pages and to see the stories in my life in an actual book. And The Calm Man. This was the second book in the edition. This is the one, yeah, Settle the Nerves. There's a sequence to them. Again, they were all, the first 4 were all written in one cluster as one book, and my publisher helped me break them down into the series that they are. And The Pain's a Purpose, then The Calm Man, and then The Fine Line, and then Hidden in Plain Sight. All part of the collection. And if you guys want a copy of these, just, if you see any of these shorts from Chaos, the story of this whole journey written live, and there she is. Oh God, I can see the glimpse of it. It does look different. Oh. Huh. The Blueprint from Chaos, or actually, Blueprint from Chaos. Building an AI business from nothing. I can't even say it. I'm just choking my words. Building an AI business from nothing, while everything else was falling apart. David Sala. It's here. It's real. There you go. He built a 6-agent AI business from a dining room table, which you are actually being recorded from. In Adelaide, single father, no funding, no staff. The phone bot flooded Slack with 1.4 million messages before breakfast one Tuesday. He shipped an $18,000 proposal the same night. $18,000 proposal the same night. This book is not about AI written from the other side of success. It was written inside the build. Voice memos on the freeway, chapters at 2 a.m., The bed that got made every morning for 13 months until the day it didn't. The chaos is not in the way of the build. The chaos is the blueprint. David Sarley is a behavioural coach and author based in Adelaide, Australia. He works with businesses and business owners on the behaviour underneath their system and wrote this book in real time while building the business it describes. It's real. So yeah, the blueprint from chaos. Wow. Heartful returns. Oh, this is going to be. I like to reread them. I'm going to give you a bit of a close. Haven't even got to the next dream. The 33 Meditations of Everyday Living. Observations from gyms, school runs, beer gardens, and quiet mornings. A little bit of a softer one. These are not chapters. They are moments. Observations from gyms, beer gardens, school runs, long drives, and quiet mornings. 33 Meditations. From hair ties and bouncy balls to Peter Pan and the ticking clock. From 4-year-old peace treaties to the quiet standard that outlasts everything else. Just put my glasses on while I read. Life rarely announces its lessons, but if you pay attention, they appear everywhere. It's not a book. It's my nervous system regulating through narrative. It is what it is, and this is it. The meditations are extracted from, for some of you who have seen me on Medium, their articles on Medium. So it's written in that form. They're just basically meditations and just short stories or essentially articles. And they're about my life and every day, me extracting the meanings in every moment and finding those little moments and meditating on them and finding and extracting the small things. Very similar to Hidden in Plain Sight, but an easy read and one that I'm going to thoroughly enjoy reading. 33 Meditations. That's a chunky one. Look out. It's one of my chunk. I think I start getting bigger during this year. The Pain into Purpose is the thinnest. Fine Line, I guess, yeah, the book one in the series. I think, yeah, the Blueprint is probably the king daddy of them all. But the 33 Meditations of Everyday Living, alive and here. You're seeing it first, all right? Unboxed first, live and here. The cover, could be improved. But like I said, 7 books published, and here in my hand is better than absolute perfection. This is my life. This is written in blood, sweat, and tears on the papers. So there it is, The Art of Everyday Behaviour. Look out. Just popped up out of there. Look at this one. The Art of Everyday Behaviour. The patterns you repeat before you realise you're repeating them. And there you go, the front cover of that one. I didn't show you the Meditations of Everyday Living. That's a freshie. And The Art of Everyday Behaviour. That's a sleek cover. Check out that. Most people think character is revealed in big moments. It's not. It's in whether you return the trolley when no one's watching. It's in how you speak when patience cracks. It's in the tone you use with someone who can't benefit from you. It's not about who you perform yourself to be. It's about who you are on a Tuesday. Repeated behavior becomes reputation. Reputation becomes identity. Identity becomes self-fulfilling. In some of the books. I'm an avid poetry writer. I love Alan Watts. I love Rudyard Kipling. It's a very common feature in the book. So I have a crack at my own poems. Opening poem, The Small Shit. I'll give you a bit of a snippet. You think life's built on lightning strikes, on viral posts and epic fights, on million-dollar handshakes. Sorry, on million-dollar handshakes tight, on grand entrances dressed in white. It's not. It's built on the small shit, on whether you return the trolley back, on how you speak when patience cracks, on kitchen tables, quiet chats, on subtle pauses before you react. It's puzzle edges, whiteboard lines, sauna shelves, and warning signs, schoolyard glances, status games, raised dot patterns, hidden frames. It's not the speech, it's the tone. It's not the crowd, it's when you're alone. It's not the hustle you perform, it's how you regulate in the storm. Because here's the twist you didn't see. Your child is studying you quietly. They don't care about your resume. They care about how you behave on a Tuesday. They don't absorb what you say you'll be. They absorb what you repeatedly see. Integrity isn't loud or flash. It's boring, repetitive, almost brash. It's doing right when no one claps, not just when you're posting snaps. So welcome to the everyday, where character is carved in clay. And every tiny choice you make either builds or leaves a crack. This book won't shout, it won't perform, it won't promise you a brand new form. It'll just a 4-year-old peace treaty. Compromising with a 4-year-old is like negotiating is like negotiating the end of a small, emotional, unstable war. There are no treaties. There are no signatures. There is only breakfast. It was a muggy Sunday, rainy, sticky, inside weather, the kind where everyone's energy is slightly off and you feel like a meltdown hovering in the air like humidity. We went out for brunch, which is already a tactical mission with 2 kids. You don't eat brunch with kids, you manage it. Alia ordered fried eggs. I asked very calmly, "Are you sure you don't want poached?" "Yes, fried." My poached egg arrived. She looks at them, looks at hers, looks at mine. "I don't want this egg. Can I have yours?" "Can I have your egg?" Of course you can. An egg's an egg to me. I'm not attached to the yolk form, but to her, it's constitutional law. I swap plates. She sits like a queen overseeing the construction. Cut it smaller. I cut it smaller. Not like that, like this. She demonstrates with the invisible geometry in the air. You have to do it right. You must understand something about 4-year-olds. Specificity is not preference, it's doctrine. Do you want the banana peeled? I bet you there are so many parents out there going, "Oh my God. Do you want it whole? Do you want it cut? Do you want it on a plate, in a bowl with the spoon? With the spoon?" You have to be specific. Because the fork in my house, a specific fork that feels flat and gentle in the hand. If that fork is not presented, civilization collapses. And I don't argue. I'm not here to die on Spoon Hill. I'll play the steward, I'll cater, and that's what a father does with his daughter. You treat her well, and you teach her the standards, and you quietly prepare for the future partner for the fact that she will absolutely negotiate everything. Now, there are boundaries. She went through an hour of whinging. "You never play with me." I stopped her. "Excuse me," calm, diplomatic and firm. "I do play with you. If you want more, ask me properly. Don't say I never do. That's not truthful." She paused. The 4-year-old processing. You can see the gears turning. 2 hours later, round 2. You never... Remember what I said? She stopped mid-meltdown. "I want to play with you more, Daddy. Can you please play with me more?" Progress. less catastrophe, less theatre. Still, the traffic light test. There's something about the road at 5:30 a.m. No traffic, no chaos, just you, the engine, and the illusion that life's finally cooperating. And then there are other mornings you're late and you feel it in your chest even before you reverse out the driveway. You hit the first red light, and of course you do. Then another. Then the pedestrian presses the button at the exact moment you approach. Someone cuts you off, someone beeps, and then suddenly the entire universe appears to have formed a committee against your schedule. But here's the thing. The traffic didn't change. The lights didn't change. The system didn't change. Your state did. This is the traffic light test. It's the Art of Everyday Behaviour. Traffic light test. Huh. I haven't read you much from the blueprint, but I've been reading this on, listening to and reading as I go along in Speechify. It's pretty cool. I can have my own voice or other voices on there. So, and I've just finished it. And it's an easy read. There are some powerful moments, like I'm not gonna lie, there are some moments in there if you're into coding, if you're into self-development, it's kind of a one for all book. I think anyone in parts of their life that want to transition in terms of work-wise, business-wise, family-wise, there are just a combination of psychological things in this that just, I guess, complete the collection. And it's real. It's definitely real. It's raw. Raw. I'll tell you a little secret. There's a chapter in here that I'm actually very fond of. It's actually a chapter written by AI, by my Claude, written. I asked my agent, my AI, to write a chapter for my book. As I voiced everything in this book, and it was, I'd like to say co-written, but not really, because you can't extract, AI can't extract the stories from your life and can't physically be in your life and can't voice the actual depth and meaning behind what you say. But there's a chapter because I work with Claude all throughout the builds, and in here you'll read a chapter, very touching one, I think. And that's the collection. What to say? 7 books. Coming from someone that failed English in the fine line. I actually talk about me showing and telling people how I was graded based on my behaviour, and English was a topic that I failed miserably in school. Literally, I did ESL as a second language in primary school, and sometimes I articulate words differently, and it's nothing's perfect. Spelling, for me, is a bit of a conjury or a misguided conception of spelling. It's unnecessary. If you can read it and you understand it, it could potentially be a typo. But then if you look at it, it's a spelling error or is it a typo? Could it be intentional or is it a mistake? People judge you based on that. I've left typos and spelling errors in this book, in some books, in most books of them, for that particular reason. Some that I've missed, some that I've left on purpose for a psychological cause. Read them and find out. My understanding, you can still read the context. Most people don't even see them. But I go through the process and reread them after reading the actual transcript every night with a session summary at the end of everything. Every aspect of the build, everything that I'm built and made in the time frame that I did it, all time stamped, everything. This is the blueprint. This is how everything became something. This is how it all became something. All of those books. From chaos to calm to building an AI automation business, to spending time with my kids and learning. I said this, my journals were never the way of reflecting. Like they're a way of getting it off my chest. These were my lessons. These different. To write it down in a way so others can read and understand, and then you understand deeper. You reanalyze the story that you told yourself once upon a time, and you look at the situation from a different perspective, and you open up your own conscious mind to a different understanding of that situation in its entirety. And that's the gift of writing a book. That's what truly happens, and that's I didn't write them for anyone else. It's pretty selfish in saying that, but I wrote them for me to understand me, my thoughts better. My undiagnosed ADHD brain. For those of you who are like me out there that have that, can't sit still, I'm shaking in terms of the ability not to think, and I had to take those thoughts and to scatter them on a table. I've got photos of just this table covered in the notes, the journals, and I had to get them down so I could have more clarity in what I want to do and where I'm going. And that's the lessons. That's the lessons learned all through these books and the chapters that you hopefully some of them get. I think probably my favorite, Blueprint from Chaos. I had to have the Fibonacci sequence on the front of this, the spiral. Even in my logo, those who haven't seen my logo, take a look at it. Obviously, the lion in the AI. Silas Main has another hidden meaning. Rearrange the letters and it spells just one word. Here we are. Just everything connects. I like the fact that everything connects. Everything makes sense now. And for some of you that are watching this, it may not make sense, right? And they don't stop searching. Well, actually, they stop searching. They stop pushing. They stop growing. Same circle, same friends, same conversations, same job, same routine, same coffee shop. For some, that's okay. We are the architect of our lives, and we choose the circle we choose to be within. Always felt different. You can say lone wolf, you can say what you like in terms of analyze it in any way. Solopreneur, entrepreneur, you understand yourself better in your journey or where you are at, whether you are in the consumer stage or the observer stage or the operator stage. They're all mentioned in the book. If I've ever crossed paths with you in my life, you're potentially mentioned in the book or your story. If you've uplifted me or have affected me in a different way, you're probably mentioned in the book. Names have been adjusted accordingly, and some details have been either left out or alluded to. I don't know. I've always just been a reflective person. As you can see, I can sit here and talk reflectively about these 7 books and what they mean. Why? Why are they here? Why did I write them? Why did it have to bleed out of me? Well, it did, and they have become something. Yeah, I'm proud. I won't deny it. I'm proud of being able to produce this and do this, and it is hard work. It's not easy. It's not something that you can, I struggled with English, so this was even bigger hurdle for me. It's not a natural aspiration. I'm a talker, I'm a personal trainer, I'm energetic. Sitting down and writing in constraint and having to reread, and it's like the worst thing I had to do, but like actually the worst thing, because in high school it was the worst thing that I ever wanted to do. I copied and pasted everything in high school, and I've written that in the book, how I've done that, and on one particular assignment you'll read, on one particular part in the fine line you'll read that there was a time that that make more sense in time to come. But right now the seven is enough for me right now. Seven books, one journey, right here in front of me. It's a pretty surreal moment. Thankful for the opportunity to be able to do this. I'm grateful for you guys to be watching this and to even purchase one of these and to read it. If you don't like to purchase it, I'll send it to you for free. These are only one of 20 exclusive. There'll be a lot of changes and additions made. They're it. They're not perfect. Not one of them. Not one of them is perfect. Not one of them had the intentions of being written to become a bestseller, to have that gold sticker on there. They're real. They're raw. There's errors, misspelt conceptions, and probably irrelevant flow or blah, but they're there. They're me, and they're available to all of you too.